Welcome back to the podcast. This is Who is J.O.B? Sorry. Yeah. All right. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Who is J.O.B the Podcast. We are sitting here with Griffin Colapinto, 24 years old, fresh off a second place finish at Sunset Beach, and even better, one of the gnarliest locals ever to come out of San Clemente. What's up, Griff?
Yeah, Jamie, thanks for having me.
Yeah, super psyched. Super pumped to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So let's just dive into Sunset a little bit real quick. That was an epic performance. It looked like you got to surf exactly how you wanted to surf. You looked like you're having fun out there.
Yeah. That was kind of like my whole thing was like just have fun. And I mean the waves were so good, and so it was like really nice to be able to just like paddle out and be looking like the water was so blue, and those offshore winds was like the most dreamiest situation. And I got to surf against like Ethan and Jack and Philippe, like three of the like title contenders this year. So I was like going against guys like that is like my favorite, because then it's like you just put everything out there. It's like no holding back. So it like makes you surf your best. And so that was like super fun to be able to do that. And just having fun. That's like a big lesson I've learned this winter.
Just to have fun, yeah?
Yeah,
It looked like you're surfing 110% and just pushing like all your turns, slamming the lip where maybe most people wouldn't slam it, or even you on a regular day, but just to get those nines across the board. It wasn't even like a thing where it was like eights or lates. It was like nines or you're gone. Like you're gnarly. Like you and Jack had an amazing heat. I think he had multiple eights on the boards and you had multiple nines. It was probably to me the most critical part of the whole event. It was you and Jack.
Oh, sick. That's cool to hear.
At least I thought, right? And I'm like, in my mind, I was like, I want both these guys to win. They're going to be on the podcast. Like, this is sick.
For sure. Get the views up.
Yeah. Let's do it. But yeah, that was awesome to see. Super psyched to see you surfing with Felipe in the final. And I mean, gosh, he was surfing so good. You were surfing so good. It was just like, which way is this going to go?
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, like how, like you said though, like when I was like going for those like big end section turns, I feel like all winter I've been like taking the biggest beat downs, like doing that stuff. And like, I felt like my confidence, I didn't really like have like the best confidence at the start of the winter. Like I was just kind of like a roller coaster ride of emotions. And I just, I don't know. I just started kind of like having more fun, and I just realized that I was like taking things like way too seriously.
Yeah.
With like the whole like title, and like, I don't know, it just seems like this year there's so much pressure from like, I don't know, that Apple show, and like there's all these things that makes the tour seem like way more like hyped up. So you like want to like, there's the Olympic qualification, and then I had all my sponsor changes and stuff. So just like, I'm like, I wanted to do bad or good so badly that I was like over trying. Yeah. And so overthinking everything, like indecisive in the water. And I was just getting so worked out in my sessions. Like I'm sure you saw like at Pipe, those wipeouts I had.
Yeah, we're going to talk about those wipeouts a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you had a million things going on. Like QuikSliver's like, here's the next Kelly Slater. RedBull's on board. Bunch of new sponsors. Like absolutely incredible. So happy to have you on the team as a Red Bull athlete. I think I knew when I just somehow, like this little bird told me that maybe Griff might be signing with Red Bull. And then I saw you and I was like, oh, I heard you're going to be on Red Bull. You like, looked at me kind of weird. You're like, whoa. And I was like, he's like, you heard something?
Well, I didn't want to jinx it, because I really wanted to ride for Red Bull. And I was like pushing the issue a lot behind the scenes, like going to meetings and stuff and just like trying to do everything I could, because I love Red Bull, and they're a dream sponsor to me. So
psych juice.
Yeah.
The best part about Red Bull is they're going to help just fine tune you into being a world champion, and however you want and whatever you want to do, they're 100% backers and believers.
That's good.
Yeah, it's great. But speaking of just all the pressure, your brother actually hit us up and asked to ask a question during this podcast.
No way.
Yeah, so here we go.
Okay.
Here's Colapinto, the brother.
Yo, Griffin, it's your brother here.
I got a little question for you now that you're winning CTs and getting second and you're 24 years old. Are you still pissing your pants? Oh, are you serious?
I don't know. I just asked him.
No, that's pretty classic.
Let's talk about it.
No, yeah. Well, I guess am I pissing my pants still? When I was younger, like I had this thing where when I like would start laughing, like uncontrollably started laughing.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was almost like my bladder like shut off. Like I laughed so hard that I would pee my pants.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And like as I've gotten older, that's like kind of gone away. Like sometimes if like I don't know when the last time it was, but sometimes if it's like really freaking funny, I'll like have a little dribble come out.
Yeah. Sounds like we need to go to a comedy show together.
Yeah. Well, I actually have this one pretty funny story when I was younger. Like I was at my grandparents' house and there was all the cousins there, and like we'd go in the garage and we'd play this game called the scary game. And we had this older cousin and we would go in there and like the garage, he would like tell a super scary story and then it'd all like freak us out. And then he like would turn the lights off and then he'd start like chasing all of us. And there was like 2 cars in the middle of the garage and then it was dark. So like you'd be running around the cars and whatever. And then, so my cousin, who was a girl, she had like an inner tube around her waist or something. And I had an inner tube around my waist and we were like kind of like running, whatever. It was super weird. But we ended up like running into each other because it was dark and I like fell on top of her. And when I fell on top of her, I like thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I started laughing so hard and I peed my pants and my pee went onto her hair and on her face and stuff. And she was crazy. Like, she started crying. It was a show. And then every time I go back to my grandparents' house, I'd always bring an extra set of underwear or shorts because I knew I was going to piss myself.
Oh, that's classic.
Yeah.
I love it. Your brother set you up on that one. I was like, yo, any question you want to ask your brother, that's where he took it. I love it.
It's all right. I don't mind being vulnerable.
Thanks, Crosby. Appreciate that one. So I guess over the years, surfing Pipeline and Sunset, you've recently won a contest at Haleiwa, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then competed second at Sunset. But what I think is really cool is that you took time to make friends out here. I know you're really tight with Seth Moniz and the Moniz family, and I think that's really cool. I guess like coming from San Clemente, being like top dog at T Street and Trestles and getting any wave you want, like showing up in Hawaii, is it like a hard thing to catch waves?
Yeah, in San Clemente, like at lowers, it's freaking gnarly. Like,
no, you catch every single wave at lowers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I was younger, it was gnarly, but now it's not gnarly.
Yeah.
I'm like you at lowers, or how you are at pipe.
Oh no, but I was kind of thinking like does Seth and Josh and the Moniz brothers like hook you up with waves? They're like, go Griff at backdoor. Is that how you getting all those crazy backdoor ones? Like you got a little insider like Seth's like, go.
Hell no.
There's no way Seth would give you one of those waves.
No way.
Oh my God.
Even if I go sit out next to him at the peak, he like barely talks to me.
No way.
No, he talks to me, but it's like I'm not going to get a wave if I go sit next to him at the peak or anything. So
yeah. Well, what I noticed what you do at pipe and backdoor is you kind of sit like maybe like 10 feet under all the locals, but it's like more of a strategy, like, because you're like, oh, if they don't go and this thing doubles up on the inside, I'm going to grab it. And I think it's really paid off for you over the years because you're catching these crazy waves, like this backdoor one. I remember actually watching this one of the afternoons. Griff got this crazy wave at backdoor right before sunset. And I was like kind of oohing on, like, should I paddle out? And then you went and caught like this 8-second, 8-foot drainer across the reef at backdoor. And I was like, wow, this kid is a force to be reckoned with. And it's hard for that to come out of my mouth because like I see so much things happen at Pipeline, but between pipe and backdoor over the last 3 years, you've impressed me so much.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I mean, I've spent so much time out there, and like I feel like just respect all you guys, all the locals out there, and like give you guys your space and try and do my best to not get in anyone's way, but also like, yeah, like I kind of like, I feel like I know everyone too now. And so like, I know what waves people like and all that. So I'm almost just like positioning myself depending on like where, so like if you are in the lineup somewhere, I'm like, okay, he's there. Like my only chance of getting a wave is going to be if I sit there, because they're going to go if, so it's like, that's kind of just how I play it. And then I'm just kind of like, and I don't talk either when I'm in the lineup, like only like just pass by talks, but I don't like sit and like start having a story with someone. You know, it's always like hunting.
So next time we're at Pipe, I'm going to try and lock you in for the story.
Well, if you give me one from your spot, then I'm down.
Yeah. Speaking of waves at Pipe, I saw you take a pretty heavy wipeout this winter at Pipeline. It was like this Kelly Slater cat-like drop. You made it no hand. I don't even know how you did all this. Grab your rail and then realize you're going to get detonated into oblivion. What happened there?
Well, yeah, I think I was kind of like there wasn't like a bunch of locals out this session, and like Tamayo Perry was out the back, and like I paddled out to go like give him like, how's it going, and then so like kind of like said, what up, how's it going, and then like I was kind of seeing like if he wanted it, and then I realized like he wasn't gonna try and get it, and then I was like, oh, he's not gonna go, so then I tried, like I was like, okay, I'm going, because there's no one else around, and then like once I was committed, I'm like all in, I'm going,
Yeah,
that's like, I think that's one thing that I need to figure out is like I almost like am so committed that it can be like a bad thing sometimes, but it's also a good thing because you want to be like committed from the start, right?
Yeah, you got to be committed. I think you did everything right there and you made the right decision. Because if you would have kept grabbing your rail, I think you would have probably blew out both your MCLs, broke your board, and broke your face on the reef. So I think you made that last second decision to jump, and I think that was a good call.
Yeah.
But what happened on that wipeout though?
It actually, the lip like landed under, like on me, but also like underneath me, like, and when the wave went like that, it like popped me out towards the beach.
Whoa.
Like I was actually like up in the air, probably like 10 feet right there.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a heavy wipeout. Did you hit the reef?
No, I didn't touch the reef at all. I was like completely fine.
See, and that's one of the crazy things about Pipeline is like some of my craziest wipeouts, I popped out the back or something happened, but I didn't hit the reef. And it's so like mentally, like looking at it, like I'm like, dude, Griffin almost died on that wave. Like I'm so glad I wasn't on that wave, because I don't know what I would have done different, but I would definitely don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, how is it surfing Pipe with your brother and like pushing the limits with Crosby? Because like over the last couple of years, I really seen him elevate out there as well.
Yeah, it's been really cool watching him out there, and yeah, he just is like, I don't know, it's cool. It's really cool to see him getting good waves, and definitely pushes me a lot for sure. Like I feel like him and I are pretty much like the same, where he's got the same strategy that I have out there. So
just don't talk to anybody.
I mean, be cool for sure, but like, don't get locked into a story.
I'm gonna lock him in for a story.
Yeah, start asking. Get him on the podcast out there.
Yeah, next time we gotta get you and your brother.
Yeah.
So what's going on with your brother? Is he on the qualifying series, or is he just trying to free surf? Like, what's happening there?
Yeah, he's on the qualifying series, and he's got to do good now in the next like couple events at home, and then qualify for the challengers, and then do the challengers for the back half of this year, and then hopefully be on tour next year.
How cool would that be to be traveling the world with your brother on the world qualifying or the world championship tour?
Oh, it'd be insane, psycho. Like we've been talking about it forever. And, yeah, we're just, yeah, I'm hoping that he does it. I think he's going to do it this year.
Cool. I mean, his his airs are insane. His turns are great. His performance at Pipe and backdoor are insane. I think he's on par. He's just got to kind of string together the results to just get there and get lucky at the same time as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's like mostly right now it's like in his head, like mentally, like just like becoming confident in himself to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. I think over in the next couple of years, he'll get it together. Like you said, I believe in what you say.
Thank you.
So how was it growing up in San Clemente? Like, was it fun? Like, cause you had so much cool people to look up to. You had Chloe and Dino, you had Ian Crane, and you had the Gadowskis, and I don't know, just the list goes on and on. And to try and push the limits in, a place like San Clemente, it's probably hard to get recognized with so many like heavy hitters.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, I mean, if you're a competitive person, then it's great because you're every session you're competing to be the best surfer of that session, and there's so many there's filmers all over the beach. You like even having like Chloe's dad Dino, like when he's down there watching us surf, like I feel like everyone wants to like rip in front of him, and because he's really critical, with how everyone's surfing, and he'll like tell you if you look good or something. So you're like, oh, I want to impress Dino right now, So like even stuff like that, it's just so healthy for all of us growing up there. And yeah, it's been really cool like having like Wardo to look up. I mean, Wardo, Archie, and like the Gadowskis brothers, then Dino's like, and there's so many more too. But there's a bunch of different characters that all have their own personalities. But it's like I feel like we can kind of like draw from like each of those guys in certain situations. Like Wardo compared to the Gadowskis brothers, like kind of like pretty different, in certain ways. But like you could kind of like embody both of those personalities, and like I don't know, it's kind of like I don't know, I think all that kind of plays a part in our surfing, like Crosby and I and the other kids there for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I got a funny story. So when I was like probably 14 years old, Chris Ward stayed on the house right next door to me where John's mom currently lives at Aokai. And Wardo was staying next door. Man, it was probably like Wardo's probably like 19, raging, partying, and like super nice. Like my dad's always like, you got to surf with Wardo. You got to surf with Wardo. And I'm like, that's a great idea, Dad. Like, say, let's go. So I would surf with Wardo a little bit. And the next summer I was going to California, and I had the nationals at, I had the nationals at San Clemente at Lowers, and I was competing in all kind of different divisions. I was competing in bodyboard and longboard and shortboard and all these different things, but I was staying with Wardo
sick.
and his parents. I forgot what house it was, but it was the most radical thing I've ever done in my life. I was like 14 years old, and I'm going to like these Lost parties, the brand. And this is like when Lost just started, and it was like in this like little house, and it was like Mayhem's house or something. I don't know whose house. And like the guy Chicken and all these guys are there lighting themselves on fire. These like parties that like, I don't even know, like people are getting beat up and stools broken. Like the house is just like, it was just like this chaos house. And there was a skateboard ramp in the back. And there was like the little merchandise bins that had like Lost t-shirts. And like, it was like when Lost was like just at the very beginning of their whole thing. I was like, I wasn't really partying. I was just hanging out with these guys. Like, oh, these guys are gnarly in California. I was like tripped out as a little kid. But yeah, like, that's like my like thing with Wardo. And I'd go stay with Wardo every year. And it was like, it was just crazy. Wardo's a very sweet, crazy person.
Yeah.
he's like his I don't know. Like the way Wardo is the way Wardo surfs, like on land.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I heard that like Andy and Bruce, like Wardo was like one of their favorite surfers, and like you can kind of see it in their surfing, and then it's like they influence all of us, and it's just cool to kind of see how that cycle kind of goes around like that.
Yeah. Speaking of San Clemente, Ryan Scheckler wanted to ask you a question on the podcast.
Oh, sick.
Let's take it.
Griffin, what's up, dude? Hey, first and foremost, congratulations on your Red Bull deal. It's super sick having another San Clemente boy riding for Red Bull, holding it down, and super stoked for you, dude. But my question for you is, when you're in the heat of battle competition, and the competition is not going the right way for you or how you expected it to be going, what do you do in that moment while you're in your heat, while you're waiting for a wave? How do you stay out of your mind And how do you stay focused on what needs to be done? Do you have breathing techniques? Is there a mental place that you go that you can calm your body down and get back into the moment? Or is that just a part of the game that we will never figure out? I'm curious to hear your answer, because I've seen you come from behind in contests and get the wave of the day or get the victory. And I'm just always curious at how professional athletes manage their mind. So I hope this is a thought-provoking question. And yeah, bud, curious to hear your answer. All right, dude, I'll see you out in the water. I'll be the guy catching no waves.
Yeah, Ryan, we'll see you at T Street, brother. But yeah, it's a good question. I mean, before my heats, I do the meditation and I get in the zone like that way. And so, and I practice meditating a lot, almost every morning and sometimes at night before bed. And I even have this breathing exercise I do before I go out in the water that I'm like, where I'm like I'm almost like flexing these muscles in my body that's supposed to, like, this muscle here, here, and here, and it's like supposed to like you're like pulling this energy from down below that's like goes up into your pineal gland in your head, and it's when you do that, it like supposedly it makes like coherent brainwaves, so that way like everything's super clear and your thoughts are super clear and decisive. So just like doing those things, I think that way when I'm in the heat of battle and there's that like pressure moment or pressure situation, I can kind of like lock back into that where I'm like feeling, where I'm like really focusing on like the present moment and just like not like thinking about, because what can happen to people, I think, when they like feel the pressure and they fall in certain situations is you can be thinking about the feeling of losing after, like what it's going to, you could already be like so many steps ahead of like, oh, it's like walking up the beach, losing is going to suck, and thinking about that. And then that's when you like end up like tripping up. But like really just being able to focus on like what you have to do right then. And like, there's no other option. Like this is what you got to do. And if you don't do that, you're going to lose. And it's like, just focus on that one task. And it actually, like, for me, it becomes way more simplified because it's like, that's the only option. If you don't do that, you're going to lose. So it's like, it's almost easier. Wow, you got a lot of stuff going on in that little brain of yours. You got to feed it more blood and get that thing working on. Yeah, I know. I'm just learning how to manage it. That's the hard part, right? Yeah, I can get the wheels spinning sometimes. I bet. I got an interesting question. So I noticed that, or I heard that maybe your family started one of the first surf camps in Southern California. Is this true? Yeah, I'd say, I mean, I think so. My dad started his surf camp, Cola's Surf Camp, when I think the first year he started was the year I was born, and he ran that for 20 years down at Poche Beach. And that was a QuikSliver camp the whole time, or I think most of the time it was QuikSliver camp. And yeah, he would just run it in the summer times, and then he was a teacher in the winter. So like the summer Crosby and I just like grew up down at the surf camp, like, and it was more of like a daycare kind of surf camp. Like, come we're going to play games and just have fun. And like, you can surf, you don't have to surf. It's 6 hours on the beach. So the parents drop their kids off, and like just a fun fest all day. Summer fun. Yeah, exactly. That's epic. and then people would be kind of learning how to surf, but like hanging out at the beach games, like just all around a great time. Yeah. And like, I think that's where like Crosby and I got super competitive from that, because we'd be playing all kinds of games like musical tennis balls and like dodgeball and like skimboarding contests. Like it was always like some kind of contest was going on. That's classic. No, because when we noticed that Kaike's helping us behind the scenes here, we were like, well, that's actually kind of cool, because we got our surf school here at Turtle Bay as well. So yeah, I felt like, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of a cool question to ask. You guys play games down there? Or is it just strictly like surfing.
We're strictly surfing.
Yeah.
We're getting people psyched to learn how to surf and giving the gift that, my father and his parents gave to him. I'm giving it to the world. And yeah, it's fun. We teach plenty of people how to surf. It's like a really cool thing, right? It's like teaching someone how to surf and then getting them hooked on such a positive sport, because surfing is outdoors. It feels good. You don't even have to go surf. You just jump in the water and you feel so much better.
Yeah, totally. I have a question for you.
Oh, okay, let's go.
I just want to know, like, out at Pipeline, like, at what point, like, or how was it like when you were growing up, when you were like 20 or something out there, and like the wolf pack was kind of like in this, like, around doing their thing? How was it?
Yeah, I mean, luckily for me, like, the wolf pack was like, the wolf pack was technically, I might be wrong, don't quote me, but it was just a bunch of epic rad surfers that came from Kauai, and they were like, we're going to come over and take over the North Shore, but I think they're like, their whole thing was like, we're going to put everyone in their place, because the lineups were getting bad and out of control, and they were a force to be reckoned with, and their surfing did a lot of their talking, but like, it was almost like this, like, it was a takeover, and they're still around, they're still here, but they made a presence, and it was a very heavy presence, but a lot of good vibes, and I think they just kind of cleaned it up for the boys a little bit, they kind of got a little rid of the riffraff, and it was kind of like, I felt like it was kind of like the last days of just like blowing the whistle, and things would go down on the beach, and there was like more people regulating. It was like 2.0 from like Dane K. Aloha and Marvin Foster and Johnny Boy Gomes. It was the new era. Like, we're here to take over. And it wasn't like they were like taking waves. It was like they were getting their waves, we're getting our waves. Like, it was a cool thing. I think it was well needed at the time, and probably we need it again. So Wolfpack, come back.
Okay, sick.
No, it was good. It was good vibes. And they showcased a lot of great surfers from Kauai, and there's still so many great surfers from Kauai out there. But
Yeah.
I think it was a good thing. I think when I was younger, I saw a little bit more of like, people punching people's fins out, more broken in cars, a lot of sketchy stuff happening on the bike paths around the North Shore, like just like getting jumped, and like, I don't know, like it was pretty rough for a minute, but everything kind of like slowly like cleaned up. But I think we're in a good place, and you got some good friends now, so you're in good hands.
Yeah. What about like that era? Like, who do you think got the most waves out there that wasn't from Hawaii?
From Hawaii, I mean, that's a hard one. There's always the wild card. There's always that one guy that gets a wave every winter, and you're like, wow, how did he get that wave? And what day was that, and what time it was, and was I out there? And I can't really like put like a name. Like, if I start thinking about it too long, I'll probably figure it out. But like, there's so much talent, and you just got to get the wave. That's the hard part at Pipe. It's like a mental thing. It's like, you say you don't talk to anybody at Pipe, you're just kind of high and by. Like, it's like, it's making the difference at Pipe. Like, when I'm surfing Pipe, Griff, I'm like, I'm looking at like everybody in the lineup, and I'm like, oh, okay, Koa Rothman's there, Nate's there, John's there, Eli's over there, Makua's over there, and I'm like kind of looking at the lineup, and I'm like, okay, when this set comes, I want to be like 10 to 15 feet away from Koa, even though it's Koa's turn. But if I could position myself to where Koa might miss it, or Koa might be not deep enough, and I'm just luckily in a better spot, I'm gonna probably catch the wave. So I'm like always trying to make a point of difference when a wave's coming, and I'm looking at the wave, and I'm like, okay, this wave's gonna do this, but I'm gonna go a little bit deeper just in case Koa paddles a little too far out. I'm gonna paddle a little bit more in, because he's not gonna paddle in, he's gonna paddle out to the peak. I'm like, all these things are like running through my head, and then and then like if there's like a guy like you that's not from around here, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, you're kind of positioned better than me, I'm gonna kind of put my head down. I'm like, I'm going, I don't care, you're behind me, But in my back of my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to drop it on Griff, but I'm going to kind of try and bulldog him out of
Start
this one.
Kicking super hard.
Yeah, and act like I don't see you, but I see you.
Well, thanks for telling me that.
I just let you know my little bulldog secret.
Yeah. Perfect.
I mean, there's just like a lot of stuff going on out there, and you know, it's fun. I have a lot of fun surfing pipe, and I have a great time talking stories with people out there. So really look forward to just talking to you a little bit more out in the lineup. But
yeah, no, I mean, I'm down. I just gotta stay like under everyone still.
Yeah. What size board have you been riding at pipe? Like, you have a favorite size board that you ride?
6'6" has been my favorite size when it's bigger.
6'6", huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
I was a 6'5" guy for a while, but I missed a few waves I really wanted, and I felt like I was just maybe undergunned a little bit. I do like taking off late and under the lip and just kind of doing the whole free fall scoop thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I missed a couple recently, and I was like kind of flustered by it. And I'm like, I just need to ride that bigger board for a little bit. Maybe like a 6'8", 6'9". Not too much bigger, but definitely helps paddle, and I can make more ground to try and go chase the wave. I recently talked about this with Ezekiel Lau. He's like, well, what size board are you riding? He's like, you know, we're like kind of talking in the lineup. That's why it's good to talk in the lineup. And we're like going back and forth. And then I was like, oh, I've been riding a 6'9" lately. He's like, yeah, I remember you like talked to me last year, and I was riding like a 6'4", 6'5". He's like, I'm riding bigger boards because I felt like I missed some waves, and I felt like I don't really need to be on that small of a board. And kind of the same theory I have is like, you can make a little bit more ground. But when you do find the magic board, it's like nothing else matters. And, and speaking of magic board, I've been riding the 9.0 log at Pipe, the catch surfboard. What's your thoughts? Like, if I'm howling out on the 9.0 log, you're like, oh my God, here he comes. He's going to catch every single wave. Or you're like, why is he riding that board? Like,
well, not really. Cause if you like, I mean, there's other guys that paddle out on boards like that big, but they just have a pointy nose. It's like really no difference. Really, I mean, any step up like probably paddles. I mean, I think probably paddles better than most boards, but you get so drained on that thing, it doesn't even matter.
It's so drained.
Yeah, it's like everyone respects you so much out there, so it's like just do your thing.
Yeah, I think the reason I ride it is because, for one, I could get every wave that I would like to be on generally, and at the same time I'm having fun, and I'm like using different kind of techniques like as I'm taking off on the wave. Like I'm applying pressure different. I'm just riding it to perfection, but the board's super sketchy. But at the same time, I'm just like slight adjustments. Like everything's like delayed by like a second than a normal wave at Pipe.
Okay.
Because if I crank on that thing, I'm gonna freaking go over the falls, die, land on the reef, freaking end it. And that's why I started wearing a helmet. I'm like, well, I'm always riding the catch surfboard, and like I don't want to get hurt riding it, and I don't want to be like have this like big regret that like, oh, I got hurt riding a board that I probably shouldn't have been riding at Pipeline. But
yeah, I'm
addicted to riding it because I could catch so many waves, and it gets so fun. So I'm like, I'll just wear a helmet. And then I just kind of started wearing the helmet, and I don't mind it. I feel like yeah, story for another time, but we're keeping it safe and soft.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, and I think I see more and more people wearing helmets, and I'm the kind of person, I don't want to die surfing Pipeline. I want to like live up this life and surf every day of my life and enjoy it. And if I take a big crack on my head, you know, good thing I got my helmet and my little float suit and cruising. Yeah, live to surf another day. You know, like a lot of guys like come to Hawaii and they're only here for like a month or two. I'm like, oh, I went to Hawaii for the season. Like, I'm here, you know, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. I'm like here year round. I'm surfing the heaviest, gnarliest, most death-defying wave year round. So I'm like, I don't have anything to prove anymore.
Yeah. 100%.
So what's up?
All right. I just wanted to know, like, when you're pulling into a barrel on your backside, like on a normal board, like say you're 6'5" or whatever, when you're coming off the bottom, like where are you like applying your pressure on the board?
So when I'm taking off late, I try and make sure I'm keeping my board straight as long as I can, because you don't want to take off under the lip too late with your board sideways, because if you end up airdropping, you're gonna go over your front rail. You kind of see it like a common thing, guys like falling off their board forward. I like to take the drop kind of nice and easy and straight. And then once I land, I crank so hard, like I pull so hard, you'll kind of see like all the water displacing off of me. And as I'm like pulling my rail, I'm kind of like, it's weird. It looks like I'm stalling, but I'm like kind of trying to get my board to go straight again. And then I whip and I do a big pump. And then I look at it and I'm like, really like a lot of my weight is very far forward on my front heel. And I'm just applying a lot of pressure there. But I think one of the most important parts and where I'm very lucky is I'm kind of lanky and I could do like these weird, awkward pumps and I could get really moving if I want to. And I could pick up speed in certain parts of the barrel, but I'm heavy front footed. I take the drop really straight and then I crank it. And a lot of times you see like me stalling at pipe. That means I'm probably not deep enough, but I feel like I've learned to ride it to like a T that like most of the times I'm on the wave, I'm going to make it at pipe. I mean, I feel really confident. And recently I lost some of that confidence, like kind of like what you did. You took a big wipeout, but maybe it put you back in your place, but then it takes you a while to come back from that wipeout and mentally get it all out of your head and then actually stomp another mental drop. And then you're like, okay, I'm back on.
Yeah. 100%. And I saw it too, like sometimes on your backside barrels, you're like, when you're pumping, like your left arm almost like seems like you do this thing where it like whips you like up in like high line almost. With your left arm kind of.
It pulls me really high because I'm constantly trying to reach for that higher part of the wave. Because if you just ride the wave at pipe really flat line, you're not going to have any speed and you're probably not going to be able to make any adjustments. So every time you see me pulling up high, I'm trying to get higher on the wave, especially if the foam ball shoots up. You're like super high in the barrel and you're kind of going around these like weird foam balls. But I think I'm very lucky because I'm pretty tall and lanky and I'm very flexible. So I think that's definitely played a big role at Pipeline as being tall, and it helps me paddle, and it just all works.
Perfect. Basketball players get out there.
Yeah, exactly. So what's your rest of your season looking like with the WSL after leaving Hawaii? Like what's next?
Next, go home for like 8 days and then off to Portugal for the next contest.
How do you feel leaving Hawaii ranked number 6? Are you decently happy with that?
Yeah, I'm stoked. It's the best start of the season I've had ever. So I'm super stoked on that. And it's like Pipeline was such a shocker for me. It was so like I felt it was weird because I thought like I was gonna do really good there because I have put in so much time and like I don't know, I just have this connection with the wave now that I feel like that it was gonna happen. But like I think I just thought too much that it was gonna happen and everything just backfired on me. And I learned a lot that contest and then going into Sunset, just kind of like let everything go, and to get second there was like an insane situation. So
yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
So your plans after this, you're gonna fly home, pick up some new boards. Are you gonna bring some of the boards that you surfed in Hawaii with you to Portugal?
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna bring. Or last year I rode one of my Takoros out there, and it was my first heat in Portugal, and it felt really good. So I'll definitely bring some Hawaii boards over there.
Awesome, yeah, because the waves are really similar to, like pipe backdoor, but it's all sand.
Yeah, totally.
Incredible waves.
I know, it's actually sick that the WSL starts in Hawaii now because it's like the best training ever for the tour. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's just gonna make everyone so much better, like surfing these waves and then going and competing for the rest of the year. It's like insane.
What's it like traveling all year? I mean, how much time do you actually spend at home now since you qualified for the World Tour?
Well, luckily now that there's a pretty good off season that's like almost like 4.5 months. But I'd probably say we get because we're always going on trips and stuff. So probably like 4 months at home.
That's pretty good.
Not in a row, but just like if you were to add it all up together.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Probably like 4 months. Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad. So we got a question for Mr. Shane Dorian.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, here we go. Thanks, Shane.
Yeah, Griff. It's Shane Dorian. I'm actually watching your semifinal at Sunset Beach right now, and you're killing it, looking sharp. Anyway, I guess my question is, the thing I want to know the most is, with the tour being so many events through the year, when you have a couple bad results in a row, and you feel like your confidence, kind of being shaken a bit, how do you maintain like your sights being on the big picture and being able to bounce back and come back from maybe like a first round loss to, with the confidence that you have what it takes to win the next event? I guess just how do you keep the wheels on for the whole year, even I'm having bad results? That's my question. You.
Sick question, Shano.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that, I don't know, just like when I've had really bad results, that's almost when I've like done my best, when I have like the most pressure on me to like perform. I don't know what it is. I think I just like, everything just kind of, like I said before, like it gets like simplified. Like, okay, it's like, you have to do this. Like, if you don't do this, then you're gonna like, it's not gonna happen for you. So it's like, there's all these things you need to do. And it's like, it's almost like if you're going on a trip and you waited till the last minute to pack all your shit, you're gonna be super focused because you only have maybe an hour or two to pack everything, and it's like bang, 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 bang. But if you like spend like 2 days like you're gonna, oh, I'm gonna slowly pack over 2 days. It's gonna be like kind of like you might forget some things because you're like not like totally focused on like what you have to do to like get there. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like how I think of it. It's like, this is what you have to do, and you only have this much time to do it. And it's like, I don't know, it's all or nothing kind of thing. And yeah, if you put everything into it and you lose, then you won't be bummed because it's like, I did everything I could. So
yeah, and then like you say, like when you do lose and you do everything you possibly could have done to make the result happen, I mean, at least you did all you can do. And kind of like what happened at Pipe. It's like you didn't do what you wanted to do at Pipe, but then you went and got second at Sunset, almost won the contest.
mm-hmm.
That's how fast things just turn around, and next thing you know, everything's going in your way.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, I think like being good at losing too is like really important, and not like hanging on to that feeling or like, oh, I should have done, or I could have gone this way, or could have gone that way. And just like really like trying to like reflect on who you were being as a person, like how you were acting around the event, and like just realizing like, oh, like I wasn't like totally myself here. Like I was getting annoyed by other people, like stuff like, there's like every little thing that like plays into it, how you do in the contest. So it's like, just, yeah, not only reflecting on your heat strategy stuff, but like how you're acting with people and stuff. So
yeah,
just like adapting and like always trying to improve on yourself as a person, I think is like the best way to seeing like results in life.
Yeah. I got a question. So when do you put all the stickers on your own board?
Yeah, most of the time.
Why?
Because I have to.
But no, but of course you have to. But like, have you ever had someone put all your stickers on the board for you?
Well, yeah, last year I was getting laminates done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But like, what about just like you get you rep for Mayhem, right? So if you get a Mayhem, how do you sticker up the board? Or do you do it every single board yourself?
Oh, I'm definitely like super particular about how I want my stickers.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah, it's so weird.
Like when you get a little bubble or there's a hair behind it, you're like, I can't live with this. And you got to peel it off and put another one back on.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's kind of like your image too. It's like, however if your stickers, like the placement and how it's organized on your board, like looks cool, then it's like you feel cooler.
Do you think you surf faster with a sharp QuikSliver logo on your board versus like an old Billabong rounded sticker? Like, do you think your boards look sharper and they ride faster?
I think if you feel cooler, you're gonna surf better. So
you're feeling pretty cool right now.
I mean, with RedBull on there, I feel pretty cool. Yeah, and QuikSliver. So.
Airbrushes, you like airbrushes on your boards?
Yeah, for sure. I love them. Yeah.
Color guy.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I mean, watching all the old videos of like my favorite surfers, they all had the sickest airbrushes. So like, that influences me a lot.
Who was your biggest influence out of San Clemente? Like growing up, like I don't know.
Probably say Kolohe.
Kolohe,
yeah, for sure.
Do you feel that? I mean, I don't know, right? I'm an outsider looking in, but I feel like Kolohe is like I feel like he should have won a world title already. He's good enough. He's had those years, but I feel like he's like frustrated on tour. Like I just think he's like he needs a reset or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he surfs so like when he's just like relaxed and like totally just having fun and doing his thing, like being him. He's like he surfs so good and he doesn't really fall that much, and like I see him have these sessions at home that's just like mind blowing, you know. And I think sometimes like it's easy to take the tour like almost too seriously, because it's like you see everyone training, like you got Italo posting like workout clips and Gabby posting all these work, and like you think you need to be like this person, that person, and like it's easy to get caught up in everyone else's thing and think that's what you need to do, which is like that's what I feel like I was almost guilty of at the start of the season with Pipe. Like I was thinking like, oh, I should be more like this guy or more like that guy. And then that's when like things started going down for me. And I realized, well, what's the things that I've done over time that's made me feel good and happy and like, and so I think maybe that Chloe's gotten caught up in like what other people are doing a lot, and like not just like focusing on what makes him do good. And so, but frick, life's so crazy. It's like we all grew up in different circumstances, and we're all just like everyone's going through the same, even if someone's like, someone could miss out on winning a title, or someone could miss out on not making like a round 3 heat. It's like same feeling for both people, kind of thing.
Yeah. Speaking of Kolohe and a group of your friends, that boat trip you guys did during COVID was probably one of the most radical, insane boat trip video. What was the video called? The movie?
Reckless Isolation.
Reckless Isolation is probably one of the best movies I've watched in years. And I was just like, all I wanted to do is be on that boat with you guys. I was like, wow. It really just like made me want to do a boat trip. I was like, you guys scored so hard.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was like the luckiest thing ever.
That's insane. You guys are all ripping. It was to me the movie of the year, and I had to watch it multiple times. And I was lucky enough to go to the premiere. I saw you in Santa Cruz.
Yeah,
and we all watched it up there in Santa Cruz with the whole crew.
Oh yeah, that was super cool. I mean, the trip was crazy. Like this Greenbush stuff was out of control.
Was it scary, Greenbush?
I wish you were here to show us how it's done on this.
I wish I was there with you guys, man. I'm vicariously living through that barrel that's playing on the screen. A perfect left-hander, as clean as it gets, with a dark cloud in the back.
Yeah.
Did you get worked that day?
Oh, I got really worked.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, it was super worth it. I got smoked on one wave. Yeah.
Oh my God. So if you guys haven't checked it out, Reckless Isolations. And speaking of videos, you and your brother both have a YouTube channel, the Cola Bros.
Cola Bros.
I love it, dude.
Learning from the best.
Thanks. I think I talked you into starting a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I was picking your brain out at Pipe one day, asking you about it, and you're just saying it's the money tree.
It is a money tree, but it's a fun money tree. It was for me the perfect platform that actually made enough money to pay the filmers. So YouTube pays the filmers now, and it works out perfect. We have 2 guys that work for me, Jacob and Bill. They film, they edit, and basically YouTube pays all the bills. So I mean, and like thanks for everybody for watching and supporting the channel, because like without them watching it, I wouldn't have the team we currently have. And I think YouTube's a great platform, and I think I'm super psyched that you and your brother do it. I think you guys haven't put out a video in a while though.
Yeah, I mean, we did one at the beginning of this winter. We made like kind of more of like a core surf edit one, but yeah, like Crosby and I, we're so focused on contests now. And like when we started the Cola Bros, it was right when COVID happened.
Oh, it's perfect timing.
So we were like, we need to do something and stay relevant, because like COVID, that we can't do contests. Like, let's do this kind of thing.
Sick.
And
love it.
So that was super fun, and like got to learn a lot. And our filmer friend Cameron, who was filming all of our videos, got swooped up by Pat Tenori, so he's working for him at Perps now. Yeah.
Oh dang.
Yeah. So, but it all worked out good, because it was time we wanted to start focusing on contests more, and we've actually built up the channel to like 25,000 subscribers, which is like for us in like
Cruising.
2 years, we're like, that's insane. We're
Yep.
psyched on that. And like, that'll always be there for us to, if we want to like get back into it and pump it. Like I'm sure I will want to do that for sure. But
Yep.
I think like once Crosby gets on tour, it'll be easier, you know?
Yeah, because you
We
got to
c-
leave them a lot.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I think that's great. If you guys are watching and listening to this, check out their channel. It's the Cola Bros. They do some radical surfing and have a good time together.
Yeah.
It's always fun to watch, and I'm always checking. I'm subscribed to everybody that's making YouTube videos in the surf industry, and I love it. And I'm like, oh, they haven't posted in a while. Like I go through like once a week and kind of check how everything is and whatnot.
Yeah. You're like our apex.
How important is like having a social media following and as well as like getting big results? Like, is it more important to have a bigger social? I mean, I guess results come with the following as well. But like, where do you see it? I don't know. I don't really know what I'm talking about. But like, are you happy with your following? And every time you win contests, you see big spikes. Like you're like, you know, sitting at 300K, and the next thing you know, you win the contest. Boom, you're at like 320. You're like, whoa, sick. Like,
Yeah.
is it pretty cool?
Yeah, it's super cool. I know it's always been crazy, like, because Instagram started when we were like 13, or I was 13, I think, and it was like pretty crazy because when we first started doing it, we like didn't really want to do it, but like I remember my parents were like, "You got to do it. Like, it's really important for your guys' career and stuff to like stay relevant and whatnot." And then kind of started like, okay, like, yeah, we got to do it. So the sponsors like it a lot. And then once you get the ball rolling and start seeing traction and stuff, and then it almost like becomes like a fun thing. You can be like creative with it and stuff. And like, you realize that you're actually like inspiring a lot of people and creating your own brand and image and stuff. So that part of it's like really cool. And, but then like, there's another part of it that's also kind of trips me out sometimes, is I'm like, because I hear a lot of people are like getting depressed from like social media and stuff, and I'm like, oh, like, am I contributing to this at all? Like,
Yeah.
am I what's making people go on and scroll and like get sucked into the time warp of like just scrolling and scrolling, you know? I've like had those thoughts, but then like also I have to remember that like I am doing things that I feel are like inspiring other people and like making them go after their dreams too. So yeah, there's just so many different perspectives on it, and I think it's important not to go down the bad perspective route.
So I mean, you technically couldn't do what you're doing if you didn't have social media, though, because every sponsor wants a piece of your social media, whether it's multiple times a month or once every other month. Like, social media is so important nowadays. Like, if you're like, you know, if I don't know, it's like a trippy thing. Like, you have to post, you have to have your sponsor post, and it's ingrained and engraved. And you have to go out there and compete and win big events. You know, it's like a lot of the contracts now are very focused on big results. And if you're landing big results, you're getting rewarded. You know, it's not like you sign this $1 million contract anymore. It's like you sign a fat contract, and then you win, you get fat bonus checks. And like, I think, you know, it's like, it's not like 10 years ago where you're like, oh, you're the $1 million guy. Like, you have like big expectations, and you get big bonuses on your way up.
100%. Yeah. You got to live up to your hype for sure.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're cut.
Speaking of a guy that's super hyped, J.O.B Zeekly asked a question for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, Zeke.
J.O.B, it's Zeke here. I've always wanted to ask Griff if he thinks he performs better surfing when he has a girlfriend or when he's single. Let me know, Griff. Let me know.
All right.
That's a funny one.
Yeah, typical.
Typical.
Of course, it had something to do with chicks.
Yeah.
Well, I had a girlfriend during COVID, and there was no contest, so it's kind of hard for me to say. But ever since then, I've been single my whole life, and so far, I feel like it's been great. Being like, it's easy to focus on yourself, and I mean, surfing's really selfish. Like, to do well in these contests, like everything you do has to be like your way or the highway kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think if like you do have a girlfriend, it needs to be a girl that's going to be like all in on you. And like,
ride or die.
it's like your life is her life kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it could go both ways for sure, but like, you got to go travel for like 8 months out of the year and do all these things. And like, if it's going to be a healthy relationship, she's probably going to like want to come on the road, and like do all that. So I don't know. I would like to have a girlfriend one day for sure. I think that it's a super cool part of life. And you look at Jack Robinson and his wife, Julia, they have a rad relationship and it works super good. And she's on his program, but then also like doing her thing at the same time. And that looks like a super rad relationship and like something that I'd like to have one day for sure.
Yeah. You hear that, all ladies out there? This is a single man. He's hyper focused on getting the job done in all the contests and whatnot. We're going to wrap up in a little bit. I just want to ask you a couple more questions. Who do you think are going to be the top 5 contenders this year to make the WSL finals?
Top 5 contenders?
Yeah. It's early in the year, but I mean, there's got to be guys that you're kind of looking at like, you're like, oh, this guy, that guy.
Well, I'd probably say Jack.
Yep.
Philippe. This tour is getting so gnarly right now.
Okay,
it's like,
I'll give you like 7 then. You got Jack.
You give me 7 guys?
Yeah, Jack, Philippe,
Gabriel, John, maybe Ethan.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And myself.
What? No, Italo this year.
I don't know. I mean, you never know, but like, I don't know. I think there's a shift change going down.
Shift change. But I mean, Gabe's kind of started off really slow this year. It's kind of weird. I'm like, whoa, like usually like he would come out firing and like winning events.
Yeah. Well, Italo, Gabe, and John have all started kind of slow.
I guess that's true. I mean,
for them at least.
Yeah. That's not the results they were looking for, especially like out of Hawaii and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, honestly, like being friends with people that are competing. Like, I don't really want to bother anybody. And like, I'm a very day-to-day person and I don't change my life for anybody. I'm just like, I'm just like cruising and doing my thing or like, hang out with my girlfriend or surfing or the dogs. But like, I don't like alienate people and like start getting all weird. But I just feel like sometimes like when the comp's on, like some of my friends start acting so weird. And I'm like,
what, like guys in the contest?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then I don't know. It's trippy. I don't really know what I'm saying, but like, I feel like, like John doesn't want to hang out until the contest is done. Like I'm like, yeah, let's go get dinner. He's like, when the contests are done.
Do you feel like you see like a change in their performance when they're more like strict about that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not like trying to like, that's why like after you like got second in the contest, I'm like, yo, buddy, Jamie here. You want to come do a podcast with me? Like, you're like, oh, Jamie's bothering me. I just want to go golf and chill.
Not even. I'm psyched to be on this thing.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Yeah. The other day I saw Griff and he was cruising down the bike path and like, I was like, yo, he's like, where you going? I had all this stuff in my hand. I'm like, I'm going to work on the podcast right now. I'm trying to get this thing set up. And he's like, oh, sick. When are we doing it? Like you're all pumped up. So
hell yeah.
I appreciate you coming on the pod and super psyched to watch you compete this year. Super pumped to get your brother on tour. That's going to be amazing. We'll keep our fingers crossed and thanks so much, Griff.
Thanks, Jamie. Can I ask you one more question?
Yeah, let's go.
So like with social media and like you're running your YouTube and everything, like how do you feel about it? And like, is it, like, especially with like mental health and stuff these days, like I'm just curious like where your head's at with everything and like how you approach it and like what's your mindset on the whole thing.
I think there's the mental health thing, but I mean in my world of Jamie O'Brien, I want to be very positive. I want to be a very motivating channel that people could land on and people are like, wow, I'm so psyched I found this channel. Like this guy's happy, he's outgoing, he loves life, we're a pretty user-friendly YouTube channel. We don't swear, we're not partying. It's like we're pretty clean-cut fun. And I feel like we kind of have a really cool core audience, of our demographic is like this. And it's so fun making these videos for everybody, for the kids, for the moms, for the grandpas and the dads. And like, I feel like we got this very special thing, and it's a very positive light, because at times I was feeling negative and down and sad. And somehow YouTube, it sounds weird, made me happy, because I would read all these comments of people like, wow, you really live the life. Thank you for sharing with me. You made my day so much better, and all this stuff. So I kind of thrive off of it. I'm like, I love it. I'm out there. I'm being a good role model. I love promoting myself. I love filming. I love surfing. I love traveling the world. I love making people happy. I try and speak and talk to everybody I possibly can. And I'm truly blessed to be a surfer, be 39 years old, and traveling the world and doing everything I was doing when I was 24 years old, like your age. Like that's the goal, is to stay in it forever. And I love surfing so much, and to see all these generations come through and get to know people and meet people. I don't know. I don't look at the internet in my world as a like a dark place. I'm a very light, colorful person. As you can see, my surfboard's behind me, you know, and the whole brand Stay Psyched is like very like positive. I just want to leave a positive message in this world, and I want to work hard but have fun. And I don't know, love it.
That's super cool. How long have you been doing it for again?
I've been doing it for years, Bill. Now, I mean, I started the YouTube channel about 5 years ago, just under 5 years, and you know, we're almost at 900,000 subscribers.
Wait, you've only had the YouTube channel for 5 years?
Yeah, just under 5. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's insane.
We did 10 seasons of Who Is J.O.B with Red Bull. It was their #1 performing series. It was super fun, but I decided to start my own thing, because I was like, well, I gotta like do something for myself. Like, yeah, you build this Instagram platform, and then like, okay, that's sick. And I kind of like did a little mental check off. I'm like, sick, I got a million followers. I was sick. And then next thing you know, it's like, boom, I'm trying to get 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And it's like been such a fun but hard processed thing. If you look on how many videos we've posted to get to where we're at, that's the hard work. It's like every day, every week, 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time, every Monday, dropping videos, 2 videos a week. It's like, it's a lot of work, but it's paid off, and it's making me relevant to this modern day of like, I don't know, this modern internet world that we live in.
Yeah. Oh. And what about like, was there ever a point where like you felt like you were like plateauing with the videos, and it was like, or like, because you got to be super creative with every video, right? And like come up with new ideas to make it fun, and like, is there ever a point where you felt like you had like a creative block or anything, and or do you, if you always just been like on a solid trajectory?
It's kind of interesting though. Like the more I try and be diverse in our videos, sometimes the videos don't do good, and I go the extra mile to make these videos really good. You know, like I don't skimp out anywhere. I'm spending the money on graphics. I'm spending the money on music. I'm spending the money on the editors and the filmers. Like all the best camera gear, 3 different angles, like everything. And like sometimes it gets frustrating, because you go and you make all these epic videos, and then you don't get a ton of views, and it's kind of like, oh man, that video only got 80,000 views in a week. And you're kind of bummed on yourself. You're like, oh, and then you drop the one the next Monday, and you're like, oh, it got like 300,000 views in 1 week. What did we do right? You know, and sometimes the simpler the video was, the better it did.
Wow.
But that's kind of my thing. I'd rather like put out a really good video and go all out than just put out some average video that it took 2 hours to edit. Like we film for 10 hours, then the guys edit for 10 hours or 12 hours, and then we upload it, pick a thumbnail, do the whole thing, and then put the video out.
Yeah.
It's so much work.
I know. I mean, I don't know, because you go over next level for it, but I feel like with the times like we've put videos out and like they don't perform that good, I feel like it's hard to stay like motivated to want to like do another one.
It's so hard. It's a constant battle. Like we dropped a video today, and it's YouTube tells you how your video is performing for over the last month. And today it was like number 8, and last week it was number 10. I'm just like, oh my God, like what am I doing wrong? And the videos are sick.
Uh-huh.
And it is frustrating. And then you see another video on YouTube that's crushing, and you're like, why that video?
Uh-huh.
It's like, you got to ride the wave. You got to just accept it and just keep riding and surfing. And I feel lucky to call this my job. YouTube is really the fifth wind in my surfing career. Just the gift that keeps giving. You just got to keep working and work hard, and the harder you work, and if you're a good person, a lot of good things will come to you. And yeah. Yeah, Griff, thanks so much, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Jamie. Thanks for having me.
No worries, dude. It was a pleasure. And thanks, Bill, Jacob, and Kaikea for helping out with the vlog today. We are doing this every week, so if you guys want to tune in, check it out. Also, don't forget to check out the Cola Bros on YouTube. Subscribe, show them love, tell them J.O.B sent you. And can't wait to see you on the next podcast. And I can't wait to see this guy in the next contest stomping massive airs.
Stay psyched.
Ladies and gentlemen, peace.